I was jotting down, hearing from the king, referring to the pilot as a hero, a martyr, and then referring to ISIS, a coward terrorist group. Anything jump out at either of you listening to him?
Well, the Jordanian government is a very close ally of the United States, and the king has been a trustworthy ally for some time. It's heartening in a sense to hear that there are people who are saying that they want vengeance, they want to take action as a result of this, and certainly I think the Jordanian government, that would be their impulse as well.
But did you really hear that in what he said?
Well, no, because there also are pressures inside Jordanian society right now that don't want further involvement. Look, this war is already Jordan's problem, very much so. The third largest city in the country is a refugee camp. They're on the border of what is an increasingly brutal and violent conflict, with 250,000 estimated to have been killed so far. So there are a lot of Jordanians who are going to say, we want to stay out of this, at least from a combat perspective. Others are going to say, no, this is too far. Finally, we have to drop more bombs and get more involved.
You want to jump in?
I think this is going to strengthen the support for King Abdullah in Jordan. His decision to involve himself against ISIS, airstrikes against ISIS in Syria. This pilot came from a very prominent Jordanian tribal family. He was a Sunni. There's a huge amount of anger right now in Jordan. I think ISIS has miscalculated here in a big way. This is going to strengthen the resolve of the Jordanians. It's going to strengthen the resolve of other regional Sunni powers. And I think that they're going to play a more significant role now in these airstrikes, in these efforts inside Iraq and Syria. And Jordan has very significant intelligence capabilities inside these countries from a historic point of view. They played a significant role back in 2006 in that US airstrike, which killed the founder of ISIS, Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. I think Jordan's going to step up these efforts in the days and weeks ahead.
I mean, obviously, listening to Rear Admiral John Kirby just a beat ago at the Pentagon, and he was asked over and over, and the word he kept going back to is backfire. This will backfire. When you see a group such as ISIS, I mean, it's one thing to decapitate hostages, another to take it to this level of burning a man alive inside of a cage. Backfiring for ISIS, don't you think?
Well, that certainly would be the hope. The sadism of a beheading, it's hard to get worse than that, but ISIS has managed to do it here. ISIS's predecessor, Al-Qaeda in Iraq, we just mentioned Zarqawi. A minute ago, Zarqawi comes from Jordan. I mean, there are some connections that should be made here.
Connections to the would-be suicide bomber?
But connections that should be made with regard to how they overstepped, essentially, and the Sunni community turned against them. And that was really the beginning of the end for Al-Qaeda in Iraq, which now this is a successor organization. So the question is now, does this kind of this sort of mutilation, this burning video actually push? Does this, and we mentioned tribe just a minute ago as well, will the tribes now see this and say, you know what, we can't be passive anymore even. We actually have to openly fight against the Islamic State. The Islamic State has been trying to get ahead of that, by the way, though, by actually eradicating the tribes, any tribes that don't go along with them. So they've seen what happened in the past and are trying to, I think, in some ways inoculate themselves from that kind of an uprising. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully the Jordanian government decides they want to double down, as do other Sunni Arab allies in the region. I'm not certain that will happen. I think it's more likely that you might see some of the tribes along the Iraq-Syria border say, if this is how they're going to treat fellow Muslims, if this is how they're going to operate, particularly also with the negotiations, which are all just a sham, maybe now there will be a moment where there could be a changing of the guard.
It was a total sham. It was a total sham. And the notion that, you know, whether it was exactly January 3rd, where according to Jordanian TV, they had killed this pilot and allowed Jordan to talk with them. And who knows what really happened, the inner machinations of those talks. You know, Jordan wanted that proof of life, understandably so, of this pilot. And for reasons we now see, you know, they didn't get it. You've seen the video. I mean, we talk so much about furthering the propaganda, and the grislier the videos, the more enticing it is for some of these people in the world to join this fight. Do you see that happening with this?
To some degree, I think that the most hardline supporters, that this will electrify them. They have this real anger, and so that it does touch a nerve with them. But I think there will be many, even some sympathizers of ISIS who are pretty shocked at this video, and this could turn off some of these extremists even in Europe and the Arab world from wanting to join this terror organization. But this is very deliberate from ISIS. It's designed to be horrible, designed to terrify. They put out a lot of these videos in Iraq to sort of weaken the resolve of the Iraqi military, and they saw that it kind of worked, because the Iraqi military turned and fled in Mosul, even though they outnumbered ISIS to a very significant degree. So they're trying to use this same strategy to weaken the resolve of powers, of the people of the region. I think this is likely to backfire, however.
Quick final question to you, Paul. I mean, you have seen so many of these videos over the years. Have you ever seen anything like this?
This is the most appalling, horrible, terrifying video that I've ever seen. They focus on his suffering in minute detail. There are a lot of close-ups. This was sort of stage managed to terrorize in every way possible. It's like a scene out of the worst horror movie you can imagine.